You were on Cranky Geeks the other day talking about the discussion delved into inventions, patent litigation, and so forth. When it comes to inventing stuff, where do you get some of your inspiration?
So what I like to do is see how people utilize technology, and I'm what's called a white space inventor. So I look at how people utilize sites like eBay or how they consume media in their house, and I try and create products that have patentable protection. Now, it's a little bit different way to invent. Some people just come up with pie-in-the-sky ideas that might not be feasible for 5, 6, 10 years, which is about the time. It takes 5 or so years to get a patent actually granted. It costs about $10,000. So the route of going with a patent and then following up with a product later is a little backwards to me. I like to solve the problem and try and build a company or a product around that problem, and then use the patents to keep companies like Sony out or companies that might try and eat your lunch.
Is it more about really just, I'm thinking, you're not in this for the short-term, quick grab of money. It's really like, you know what, you've got good ideas. You're looking at the long term of things. It's not something anybody should just delve into and going, this is it. This is I can stop my day job and just move right on.
It's very difficult to do that. If you come up with a patent and try and do what's called litigation, or NTP and RIM had this patent, hundreds of millions of dollars in court fees led to hundreds of millions of dollars of a settlement. But the
lawyers get rich.
The lawyers get rich. Eventually, some people got rich on this deal, but it's seen as patent trolling. It's a lot of people will buy up patents and try and scoop them up and then go attack other people. And this is happening with everything from MPEG patents to JPEG patents to MP3 patents. So it's not the right way to go about things. And there's some legislation enacted that's trying to prevent these patent trolls to even do this. I like to create a product, solve a problem, and create something that has value, and then use the patents as protection.
That's awesome. Is there? Are you personally waiting for anything on the horizon right now to be patent granted?
Oh, absolutely. So because it takes 5 years or so, some of my patents that I published in 1998 and 1999 still haven't come to fruition yet. So it's a long process. I've say that I like to grow gray hair while I'm waiting for some of these patents to grant. But it's cool. When one grants, you never know when it's going to happen. The patent attorneys go back and forth with the patent office. There's arguments back and forth, and sometimes my patent attorney will say, hey, something, what's called prior art, infringes on what you're doing, and it wouldn't really infringe. I would infringe on what prior art was doing. So you have to do a little dance and wiggle and shake around it. So it's exciting, though, when they grant. It's like new babies are being born.
That's pretty cool. If you have those kind of ideas or those thoughts of doing something that might be patentable, is there a website or a resource you'd start with, or is it really just go find a good patent attorney right off the bat?
Yeah, a good patent attorney is going to be expensive. So this is what's difficult. With $10,000, it's a little tricky. So what I would do is try and find an angel investor, someone in your family or a friend. And if you can come up with prototypes, nowadays, so much can be done in software, where when I started inventing, it was all hardware tinkering. I mean, think about Edison, what he had to build. There was no...
from scratch.
From scratch, right?
Versus like, say, a breadboard design circuitry and whatnot to now software design where you can simulate things.
And even hardware like Bug Labs, right, where it's a brain that's essentially what would be inside of a router, and you can plug modules into it, develop software around it, and now you can build a digital camera or a GPS or some sort of thing that... takes an idea that really hasn't been achieved before with off-the-shelf hardware, and you can kind of Lego it together, which is really exciting.
Bug Labs is awesome. They were here visiting about 3 months ago with their latest prototyping. Buglabs.com, I think it is. .net, thank you. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. We'll get into that more. We could sit here and talk about patents and inventions, I think, to the end of the time we have available to us. But